Let's talk algebra, and specifically, what do we do when we have a letter under the square root? So when there is a letter under the square root, how do we deal with that? We use power of 2. Now, when they are saying solve the equation for n, that means basically at the end of our answer, we're going to have n equal a number, isn't it? That's where we are going. Okay, so power of 2. Now, one thing we have to remember about power of 2, that we don't square each element in the equation, but a whole side of the equation. That's how we use power of 2. So here my power of 2 and square root will cancel out, while on the other side, we take a bracket to the power of 2, and here we can use the formula for that, which will equal the first number to the power of 2 minus 2 multiplied by the first number multiplied by the second number plus the second number to the power of 2. So in our case, applying that formula, it will be n to the power of 2 minus 6n plus 9. And then on the other side, we just have 3n plus 1. Now, what do we do next? Once we see in our calculation, it doesn't matter what kind of calculation, once we see a letter to the power of 2, what do we think about? Minus b formula, and that's what we are applying here. Now, one thing to remember about minus b formula is that I have to move all elements to one side, so that on one side of the equation I have 0. Make sure that when you move the elements, you change the sign to the opposite. So therefore, when we simplify our numbers, we are getting n squared. Oh, what was that? That should be 0, not a. So therefore, we will going to get an equation n to the power of 2 minus 9m plus 8 equals 0. And now to identify our a being what? 1, our b being minus 9, and our c being 8. And then we solve these values in our minus b formula. So that will be minus the b value is minus 9 plus minus square root, again b, which is minus 9 to the power of 2 minus 4 multiplied by a, which is 1, multiplied by c, which is 8, and everything divided by 2 multiplied by a, which is 1. Now, one thing to remember when you are putting that in your calculator, make sure that your minus 9 here taken to the power of 2 is put in the bracket. Otherwise, you're going to get an error. So when we put that in the calculator, we get both answers, n equal 8 and n equal 9. Now, both of them fulfill the condition of n belonging to n, meaning what? Natural numbers. However, when we solve those two values back in, we see that only n equal 8 is an applicable answer, and that one is n equal 1 is not an applicable answer. Very typical algebra question in your exam. Great, excellent practice for 5th year. Don't forget that algebra, that's what you are doing in the beginning.